content on this channel is for entertainment and educational purposes only. We are, not a financial advisor, and nothing shared here should be considered financial advice, investment guidance, or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. All trading involves risk, and you should always do your own research or consult with a licensed financial professional before making any trading or investment decisions. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Use the information here at your own risk.
Hi guys, hope you're doing well. So now we are going to back test the rest of the August month. So yeah, let's just see how everything goes. All right. So we have to move forward and let's get it done. Right. So basically, what we're gonna start doing, we're gonna start by quickly taking a look at the news. Monday 11th August, right? So that's where we're going to start. We're going to basically do the rest of the August month straight through until here. There we go. Until Friday 29th of August. All right, so let's go. Okay, we're gonna stop at 2 a.m. Okay, this is now Sunday, by the way. Okay, right, so that's Monday. Alright, so clearly we can see this is the Asian high, this is the Asian low. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a break of the Asian low or a test of the Asian high, and then we look for either a sell pattern from here or a buy pattern from here, as explained in my August replay back testing on the part 1 video. All right, so let's move forward. So let's have a look. Let's wait. All we can do is wait, right? Also, just as I've explained before, here is the daily time frame, right? EURUSD loves reacting off daily levels, 4-hour levels as well, but not as much as on daily levels. So daily candle turning points, body turning points is extremely important. Like here, once again, this was Thursday and Friday's candle. So where's the body of those candles? The top is right there. So what does that show you? It shows you that we're reacting off those levels. You see? There we go. Any case, let's move forward. Let's do this. Now I can clearly see the whole session. You have the whole session in your view. Okay, so we have not tested the low of the Asian session yet. I wish we did, but not yet. Now we did. All right, so what are we looking for now? Let's make use of this purple line. There's the high that we are focusing on because there's a fair value gap. If we close above that, we have our inverted fair value gap. So let's wait for it. That's also a weekly open gap, right? In WOG, weekly open gap. Let's give it time. We did not close above that line. I'm sorry, we did not. What we actually did do is this here. All right, I actually missed this now. I was a little bit too fast, so let me go back here. So what did we do here? We closed below that line there, and there's a fair value gap here, so that's our new point of interest, and we closed above that. So now we draw our fib tool. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a retest of the 50% level, or the retest of this order block here. That's the last candle before this whole move up. That's literally the last candle because that's the lowest point of that low, of the current session, London session low. So now we wait. So let's just quickly finish up the entries here. Alright, so that's 48. So 78. Did I not say? Oh, sorry, 47. 77. Now we aim for 1.5. And we enter of that candle for the order block trade. We aim for 2 risk to reward. There we go. So now we wait. Okay, we enter both trades here. And we got stopped out. That is it. So now we go ahead and we mark it out on our loss here. So there's a 1 loss. And there's a 1 loss. Whoops, -1. Sorry, minus. There you go. All right. Here we go. Right, let's move forward. So that was a loss for London session. We do not enter any new trades during London session because why? Because if you do that and the trend just keeps on going, you are going to get your ass handed to you. Plain and simple. That's it. So you live to survive another session, right? So this is the London session. So what do you do now? You sit on your hands until New York session and you wait. Right? New York session. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for price to break below that line before we can look for a buy. Wow, how close is that, eh? How close? Okay, there we go. Now we've broken below that line. So what are we waiting for now? We're waiting for a close above this level here because that's the last bullish candle before this move down. As well as there's a fair value gap. And here's a fair value gap. Let's move forward. And we keep on following price as price moves. That is the high there. Let's move forward. There's a new high that was created right there. Remember, you need to sit and wait. You need to watch price. There we go. Oh, cool. Alright, so what happened here? So we closed above. And we got a very good reaction of that order block. But it's not close enough to the 50% level. Actually, what I want to do is remove the 45. I'm sorry. We have to do that. Alright. So, let's just quickly move forward. Whoops. We have to wait and wait and wait. Right, there we go. Price is actually going down. There we go. Much better. So basically, we entered this trade. We add 30 pips. $1.5. That's close enough. It's fine. There we go. All right. So what is the last candle? Closest to the bottom is this one. So if you would have liked a order block trade there, that's the one that I would have had looked at. Let's do this. Huh. You can do this, or you can actually target this level. Very nice entry there. But we never know if the market will actually go there. It's fine. Let's just move forward. We've already entered this 1.5 risk reward trade. guys, so just to make this clear, price did go here, but it did not tap us out of this trade. We actually went here and closed here. So this is roughly one, I would say at least one. And the prop firm rules is they literally close your trade at the end of the trading day. Believe it or not. Well, that's from the prop firm that I'm using. So they forcefully close the trade, and then you have to move on to the next day. So let's go back here. We made an 1 here, so we can actually make this 0, and we leave this at -1. All right, let's move on to Tuesday. Okay, I'm gonna stop very close to London Open. There's London Open, and we were gonna wait for that level there, or this level here. Let's remove that. No, that. All right. So let's have a look at the daily level as well as the news, right? So Tuesday news. There's some USD news there at 8:30 New York. Core CPI. All right, this is a big one. So we need to just watch the news, please. That's very important. All right, so core CPI at 8:30 New York time. Very important. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to mark a line at 8 because we need to stop trading there. Let's mark a line at 9 as well, because that is the start of the New York session. So if we do not enter a trade before we reach this line, then we stop until, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes after the news event has completed. In any case, let's move forward. And what do we have here? We have a daily fair value gap here. We have a daily order block here as well, right? There we go. There's a clear daily order block there. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. That's pretty far down. But we're also hitting a fair value gap. A daily fair value gap. So I'm not going to clutter up my charts. I'm just going to wait. For the time being, we took out the London low. Let's move forward. We have a new high here. So what are we going to do? We're going to mark it out. There's a fair value gap there. And we wait for close above, retest, buy. There we go. Whoa. All right, I'm a little bit too fast here. There is our... So we already have most of our entry model. We're just waiting for 50% for pullback or entry of the order block. That's one. That one's there. All right. So let's have a look here. 50. Add 30 points. 1.5. There we go. 1.5. And the other trade is there on that level, and we aim for 2. Basically the same high as the other trade, but because we are entering off the 61.8, that makes sense now why it's so close to the TP level of this one here. In any case, let's move forward. Okay, retest of the 50%, perfect. There we go. And we entered this one as well. And price keeps going down and stopped us out. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? So we are still in London time frame. And since we are still in London time frame, we are definitely not going to enter here in any case. There's nothing else that we can enter here until New York session starts. So now we have to sit on our hands until New York open. Now we have to wait, so that's why I'm just zooming out here a little bit. Okay, there's the news. Oh, the news is at 8:30, right? So the news at 8:30, so let's move forward. Oh, you see, that's the news. There we go. We shot up. We now do not look for a buy anymore. We're now looking for a sell. But we have to wait until New York open in any case. So let's just do this. All right. New York open. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for a retest of that level before we look for a sell. There we go. We get what we're waiting for. Now we're waiting for a retest of this low, or close below this low. We see the volume is actually pretty high due to the news, the most recent news. We actually, you know what? Let's just stop here because there's a new high basically, or a new low basically, right? Let's just wait. There's a new low there. Let's zoom in here. All right, we closed above that. There's our fair value gap. Let's move on. Okay, now we have a new high, a new low, sorry, to focus on. And a new low to focus on. You see where we are on the daily chart. We are at a resistance level here and back to this daily inverted fair value gap. So what could you expect? Possibility of a reversal, or price is just going up. All right, so there is that's the last bullish candle before the move down. Is that level there? Okay, we don't have a fair value gap here. All right, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a close below that candle. Remember, whatever is happening now inside here, inside this area, is internal structure, because this is a new low that was created with this move up. So we need to focus on this. Whatever is happening inside here, we're not going to be involved. Wow. Okay, and I'm going to stop because it's 3 p.m. What's the golden rule? Stop new trades at 3 p.m. New York. Now we're done for the day. All right, so we're not going to waste our money, our time, or efforts. We're going to move on to the next day. So now we are moving on to Wednesday. All right, so let's play this. Remember, everything else here is not needed anymore. Going to stop at 2 a.m. on Wednesday. There we go. All right, so we barely took out this Asian high. There we go. We tapped it. And now there's the Asian low. Yeah, I would count that as a... Yeah, okay. We can count it as Asian high taken, but we cannot use this low because this low is inside... fairly inside the Asian time frame. So now we need to wait for a new low to be created. And it does. That's the last bearish candle before the move up, and there's the fair value gap. And that's a new low here because there's a new fair value gap here. And remember, when I marked this out, this is the daily order block. Last bullish candle before this move down. So let's just keep that in mind. Price is pretty bullish, as you can see, price going up here. But what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a reverse white, so we have plenty of time to wait. All right, there's a new low right there. All right. There's a new low there. It takes effort to follow these lows and highs, right? It does take a lot of effort. So you can count this as a low, or you can still keep on this one being the low. It's up to you, because there's a fair value gap here and there's a fair value gap here. So both of these are legit to be used. Let's just wait. Oh, we have a new... Okay, stop right there. We have a new high there. We're broken below it. There is our fib tool. Now we wait for a retest of that candle or the 50%. So let's just quickly mark this out here. $63, 1.5. There we go. Remember what I told you last time? We can enter off the 50%, or we can enter off like a few points close to 50%, like 5 points. So basically you can enter at 65 as well, which is not bad. I do this with the order block entries because sometimes price wick it and sometimes not. 88, so let's make it 83. Let's enter that one there. Oh, that's perfect. All right, let's aim for 2, and now we wait. We have our entry. We have our entry here as well. Beautiful. Let's wait. And we took take profit on both of these trades. Absolutely beautiful. And we are done with the London session. All right. Beautiful. Wednesday. 1.5. And we have a 2 here. All right. Okay. Immediately we turned this week around. Okay, so let's move forward. We're already done with this trade, right? There we go. We entered there. Because why? Why did we turn? Why did price have such a good big reaction here? Because we are on a daily order block here. That's why, in this area. In any case, let's move forward until New York. There we go. There's New York. Where are we now? We're in the middle of the London session, so we're either waiting for price to go back here for a sell, or let's just delete that. We're waiting for price to get here and take out that low before we look for a buy. Unfortunately, we have to stop here because our rules say no, we don't look for new trades after 3 p.m. New York. And so we are done with Wednesday, and now we move on to Thursday. Thursday, 14th August. Let's just also delete all this clutter. Okay, we're close to 2 a.m. Oh, there we go. We already took out the the Asian low here, but what do we not have? We don't have a inverted fair value gap yet, so we don't have any entry model so far. There we go. Now we have an entry model if price close above that purple line, because there's our fair value gaps. Now we have a new point of interest right there. There's our fair value gap. Okay, just keep in mind this area as well, because price could react on this area on the daily time frame as some form of support. Actually, we have a new point of interest here as well. And did we close above that? Your guess is as good as mine. Wow. I'm sorry, this is too close. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to count this as a close above. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. Let's move forward. Let's going to wait for this level right there. Alright, now this is much better, right? This is, your eyes can clearly see now we closed above that, right? And there's our inverted fair value gap, or fair value gap formation, right? Multiple fair value gaps next to each other. Now we wait for a 50% retracement of the fib, and then we can put our entries here. Let's just do this as fast as possible. And 120. Okay, 1.5. And so what is the order block? This one, yeah. That is the candle with the wick that's next to the bottom. Alright, so the order block entry would be here, and we aim for 1 to 1.5. 1 to 2. There we go. And let's move forward. Alright, so fib tool. Just quickly adjust our fib tool here. Unfortunately, we reached, okay. I've also another golden rule, and that golden rule is if price hit your take profit without your entry first, then that trade idea is now a no trade. Very important. Because what can happen is that you get stuck. You saw what just happened now, right? Good example. If price hit your take profit level of your trades before hitting your entry, that's a no trade. Absolute no trade. You move on to the next day, or you move on to the next session. All right, so let's see what happened here. This is the 14th of August. What news do we have here? There we go. 8:30. Core PPI. 8:30. Let's just quickly go back here. 8:30. Yeah, that was a news candle. So what we should have done is we should have not entered any trades also since, or just before 8 a.m. So let's move forward. All right, let's move. New York. All right, perfect. I like this. New York already actually took out the low of this. It touched this wick. This is the low of London. That big wick there, that is actually the low of London. So we already took out the London low technically, right? So what are we waiting for now? We are waiting for a close above that level, because we have a fair value gap, then it will turn into an inverted fair value gap once it does that. So let's move. Let's wait. Okay, there we have a new, there we go. You see, there we have a new high there. There's a new fair value gap there. There you can clearly see it there, right there. And what are we waiting for now? We're just waiting for a retracement and buy. We can actually take both trades off the same level because it's extremely close to the 50% fib. So let's make it 150. Aim 1 to 1.5. And we duplicate this because the order block trade is basically off that same level. We aim to 1 to 2. There we go. All right, let's move. Let's move. Let's move. Waiting for a retest of the 50%. We actually get our 50%. We have to adjust as price moves. So we entered off the 50% here. And this trade, we can actually now just keep off the order block there. So let's give it some time. Okay, there we go. We entered that trade as well. And price stop us out. It is what it is. That was for what? Thursday, New York. All right, so let's go back here. Thursday, New York. We have a -1 here. And we have a -1 here. All right, hold on for a moment quickly, please. All right, let's proceed. All right, let's try again. Let's move forward. So basically, let's just move on to the next day, right? Okay, cool. So let's just do this. All right. All right, let's do this quickly. All right. You see how unfortunate this is? Price took us out and then started reversing, but there's nothing much you can do about that. That's part of trading. So as long as you stick to your trading model, then everything will be perfectly fine. Then you will stay ahead of your money management. All right, so let's move on to the 15th of August. Alright, so London already actually taken out the Asian time frame high. Let's just quickly move forward. We're looking for a sell, right? And no, we cannot count this as a low because it is pretty much inside the Asian time frame. If it was only like in these last two candles, no problems. But since it's more inside the Asian time frame, unfortunately we cannot use that as a low. We now need to use a different low as a reference. So there we go. Let's just quickly zoom in here a little bit. That's much better. Alright, so now we're waiting for a close below that candle. Or we have a new low to work from. And we have a new low to work from. Here we go. Remember, we are at some form of a daily resistance. We have a daily resistance high here. Price reacted from this the previous day. Let's just quickly move forward. Okay, let's move forward. Let's move forward. There we go. And we have to move forward. There we go. Let's just give it some time. Right. Are there any news on 15th of August? Good question. 8:30 and 10. Right. And then we have President Trump speaking at 6:55. All right. So let's just mark this out. Right. So we do not look for any new trades at 8. And we do not look for any new trades at 9:30. It's a pretty news heavy day. Alright. Okay, so we have our close below there, so we can actually now look for a sell. Because there is our inverted fair value gap. Actually, not there. Here. Here's our inverted fair value gap. Alright, so let's move on. Okay. Okay, 70, 60. There we go. 30. Okay, and we'll aim for 1 to 1.5. There we go. There we go. Just there. Where's our order block entry? Our order block entry is sitting here on the 50% as well. Because why? Because this candle is the highest candle before this move down, and we can enter off here. But since that is the 50% pip level and we only look for a trade close to the 50% level, we're gonna work from there, and we can make a 2. There we go. Let's do that. All right, let's do this. Let's move forward, and we actually, I would have entered here. There we go. Easily entered here. Okay, we're entering in the trade. Let's move forward. We are inside both trades. And we beautiful. You see, we were already in this trade before the news event started, and the news event gave a good amount of volume and pushed the price to our take profit levels. That was very cool. All right, so now let's mark this as a win for the 15th of August. This is Friday, right? So what is my Friday rule? No trade during New York sessions. So I'm done for the day. This is a take profit, and now we actually just count the profits. So let's do that, right? So we were on 7%, 11%, right? So there we go. Let's have a look. So this is -1, 1.5. So this is 0 now, 0.5, right? 0.5, 0.5 minus 1 is minus 0.5. Actually, let's do this. 1.5 plus 1.5 equals 3. Minus 1 equals 1. There we go. Cool. Next one. 2 plus 2 equals 4 minus 1 minus 2 minus 3. That will also be 1 day. There we go. And that's it. So now we just count that together with the rest of the previous total. So now that would be 8%, and this would be 12%. So yeah, let's now move on to the next week.